Chairman, ranking members, distinguished members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee's Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia Subcommittee and Europe Subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. It is a privilege to present my analysis alongside Gabriel Nerona and Dana Stroll, both of whom have served in the U.S. government and have since contributed to bettering our public national security debate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's high time to connect the dots. America's authoritarian adversaries like Russia and Iran are drawing closer together, constituting a new revisionist axis capable of supporting one another's foreign and security policies while undermining ours and those of our allies. There may be no cruder example of this than the praise Russian President Putin just offered Iranian President Raisi for Iran's missile and drone attack on Israel, calling it, quote, the best way to punish the aggressor and a manifestation of the tact and rationality of Iran's leaders, end quote. But Iran and Russia are not natural allies. In fact, they have centuries of historic enmity. In my written testimony, I trace in depth the turbulent, then transactional, and now transformational phases of their relationship, the latter of which we are now in. This has been evidenced by Iran's provision of one-way attack drones, unmanned combat aerial vehicles, artillery shells, and even body armor to Russia since 2022 to support Putin's war in Ukraine. In return, the Islamic Republic has received gold, cash, Russian diplomatic cover, captured Western weapons, and contracts for advanced Russian platforms like the Su-35. Washington has warned that Tehran may also provide Moscow with short-range ballistic missiles. Last year, in a historic first, Iran participated in Russia's Army 2023 military exposition in August, showcasing a mock-up of the Ababil close-range ballistic missile. Please see Image 1. One month later, in September, Russia's defense minister visited an IRGC Aerospace Force exhibition in Tehran, where he inspected, among other things, the full Ababil missile. Please see Image 2. Iranian ballistic missiles would significantly alter the threat landscape in Ukraine by helping Russia conserve its own ballistic missiles and offer more opportunities for layered attacks. Ukraine also has comparatively less in the way of expensive ballistic missile defenses than it does air defenses. Looking ahead, Iran and Russia could easily deepen their relationships, be it in nuclear matters, sanctions busting, the cyber domain, or evicting the U.S. from Syria. In my testimony, I outlined several such areas, but here today I am choosing to ring the alarm bell over space and satellite cooperation. There is significant concern that Russia may be helping Iran launch spy satellites for military purposes that could make Iranian ballistic missiles more accurate. Late last year, in fact, a video emerged from summer 2019 showing IRGC Aerospace Force commander and his Russian counterpart in Tehran shaking hands after Iran proposed to Russia to create a drone command if Russia helped Iran create a space command. Please see Image 3. Congress can help offset this deepening cooperation by weakening each party. For example, 1. Through legislation, Congress has already set the stage for a better Iran policy that provides more options to deal with Iran's domestic suppression and foreign aggression. The Massa Act, the SHIP Act, and the Fight Crime Act are good examples. 2. Through oversight, Congress should inquire about the status and implementation of the Defend Act, which calls for establishing an integrated air and missile defense architecture in the Middle East. It should also inquire about the status of the task force the Biden administration claimed to create last year to combat Iran's acquisition of Western components for Iranian drones, which have ended up in Ukraine. 3. Through creativity, by considering the applicability of Iran sanctions and even terrorism sanctions to Russian targets, as well as the exposure of Iranian entities to existing Russian sanctions. A priority for Washington will be how best to target Russia and Iran's Caspian Sea-based sanctions busting. 4. Through the bully pulpit, Congress should ring the alarm bell on both Russia and Iran's deepening ties with another party, China, as well as their repression of dissidents and protesters at home. 5. Through pressure, Congress should press the administration to work with the E3 to snap back and restore UN sanctions on Iran before this option expires in 2025 October. Should this lapse, the West will not be able to use the UN Security Council to bring diplomatic pressure against Iran again, as Russia is poised to play the role of Iran's lawyer for the foreseeable future at international organizations. And 6, through financing. By passing the supplemental, Congress can make sure that our partners, which have been subject to attacks and predation by Putin's Russia and Khamenei's Iran, have the means to defend themselves. In my written testimony, I have offered additional policy recommendations aimed at tackling this rising relationship. Thank you for your time, attention, and the opportunity to testify. I look forward to your questions.